Hello. Today is August 7th and it is 2:14 p.m. The thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, the crystal meth addict, and his family and all these people, they want me to not be liked by anyone out there. Basically, every girl that likes me, every person that hears about my brain savant, but literally making me number one on the prodigious brain savants in the world right now. So literally, there are only 100 of us out there in the world, brain savants out there. Extremely rare to have autism, usually mainly common in either Indian genetic pools or Caucasian white genetic pools. And out of that, having autism is rare, and out of that, having extremely rare brain savant is even more rare. Literally, I know for a fact my genetic pool came from my mother's dad's side. My mother's dad, who was a really good lawyer, and his entire family were really smart people. And that's where my genetic pool literally came from for my autistic brain savant. And the one that I have literally makes me number one on the entire list. The way we know this is due to June 24th, 2026, only 2 months ago, being overanalyzed right now with the most recent test. We've had at least 7 tests so far, with the first one on August 9, 2022, consisting of 6 hours of undeniable brain savant data that is overanalyzed and analyzed by artificial intelligence and computer data. Now, the thing about it is just the fact that that one is obviously undeniable, not only due to the fact that artificial intelligence had analyzed it for about 8 months from August 9, 2022 till about April 2023, even though I don't think that was needed. Now, the thing about it is it's also undeniable due to the fact that I'm not psychic, and I know exactly what the report said about my brain savant, and I knew exactly why after that being that I have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing, and also the fact that after mid-May 2023, that brain savant test was done, and after that, starting July 1st, 2023, actually about 2 weeks before then, they did not let me stare into textbooks anymore, and I knew exactly why. That they found out that my brain savant powers increase over time, and they thought that it was due to me staring into textbooks all day, night long. Now, the double standard that we see with Ibrahim's family mainly, where they're trying to find ways of trying to downplay the fact that I even have a college degree, my overseas PharmD degree, where I literally had to run on 2 sandwiches and a pack of ramen noodles every day for months, as law enforcement is a witness to this fact. Law enforcement also confessed in court that they were fully aware of the fact that my brain savant was fully locked up while I was in my overseas pharmacy school. Law enforcement has also confessed in court that the last biochem exam that I gave before I got my degree, law enforcement forced me to fail that exam by using severe amnesia drugs in the exam room, so much potency that I could not even remember how to spell my own name. I was thinking, is the H before the S or the S before the H? I literally could not remember. I remember, so basically, it was due to that I had to cancel it. Law enforcement confessed in court that not only did they use severe amnesia drugs to force me to fail that last biochem exam, but also numerous other exams, making it literally a miracle that I was able to give 108 pharmacy exam finals, whether lab exams or theory exams, in order to get my overseas PharmD degree, while running on 2 sandwiches and a pack of ramen noodles for a month, while sleeping on the side of the streets with the little money that I had, doing all of these things. Also, the fact that I was being abused by my stepmother. She was adding acid to my clothes, as law enforcement's a witness to this fact. She was puncturing holes in my clothes. She was not letting me have any food. And then on top of that, law enforcement's a witness to the fact that they had my brain savant locked up with their own tools, and And then on top of that, they're using extreme amnesia drugs on me when I would be trying to prep for my finals or when I would be in the exam room itself. As law enforcement confessed themselves for the last biochem exam, they also confessed that they did this in numerous other exams, making it literally a miracle that I got all 108 exams done for my overseas pharmacy degree and brought my degree back home to my mother, who worked really hard at a Food Line grocery store to pay for that degree, and bringing me back home and sending me back there to sleep on the side of the streets. So basically, I want to show you exactly how desperate Ibrahim's family is in trying to get me to like their daughter, or Ibrahim's sister. So this is basically March 9th, 2026. This was sent to me at least 3 times on March 9th, 2026. It's an ad. The girl resembles Ibrahim's sister so much in this video that you would kind of think that his mother had to go through numerous pictures of girls to try to find the one girl who resembled her daughter the most. This girl in this picture resembles Ibrahim's sister almost completely. It's like an exact copy of Ibrahim's sister in this picture. It's almost as if Ibrahim had his own sister to go make this commercial, where this girl's face looks exactly like how Ibrahim's sister looks like, clearly showing from facts and evidences that Ibrahim and his family had to go through numerous pictures of different girls before they were able to find the girl that resembled his sister almost exactly like how she looks like, in order to check to see the chances of them being able to benefit from my brain savant money would be, while arguing in court that I'm aggressive. No one wants the aggressive person to marry their sister or daughter. While arguing in court that I'm a bad person. No one wants a bad person to marry their daughter or their sister. While arguing these things in court, that I'm a stupid person, that my GPA was low in pharmacy school, and all of these things that they're arguing against me, and at that same time they're advertising their daughter or their sister to me all day and night long. This was advertised to me 3 times on March the 9th while they were arguing in court all these things against me, that no one would give their daughter or their sister to, that I was an aggressive human being. No one gives their daughter or sister to an aggressive human being, that I was a bad person. No one gives their daughter or sister to a person who is a bad person, or that that I was a bad person, all these other things, rumors about me, that my GPA in pharmacy school was not high enough, so I'm a stupid person. No one wants a dumb or stupid person to marry their daughter or their sister, clearly showing from facts and evidences that these people are fully doing everything due to extreme greed and extreme envy, where this girl that is being advertised resembles Ibrahim's sister almost completely, and she's way too ugly and young for me, and I do not like her, and I told them that on the very first time. And while they were arguing these things against me, guess what? They still went ahead, and they didn't quit. On March 9th, they advertised 3 times, and then on March 11th, again, they're advertising someone who doesn't even look anything like his sister, and yet they're advertising this person to me who doesn't look anything like his sister at all, not one bit. And yet, only 2 days later, they're advertising someone else to me who looks almost nothing like his sister at all. The only thing that's any resemblance is the eyes. Nothing else resembles his sister. The first picture did, and they saw that I didn't like her, and they saw that they were full of greed except for envy, and they still wanted me to like her, so they continued to send me pictures of girls that didn't even look like her to try to check to see what the chances of me agreeing to this Ponzi scheme of this prenup marriage agreement would be. And even then, on March 11th, they still did not stop there. They right now, when June 24th was overanalyzed, June 24th, 2026 was overanalyzed. So this is going to be July 18. Only 2 months ago, they're trying the same exact thing with a girl out there who does not resemble his sister at all. She doesn't resemble his sister at all, not one bit. She looks totally different. And yet, if you ask law enforcement, they will tell you that Ibrahim and his family did ask law enforcement to advertise his sister to me on July 18, only 2 months ago. And yet, the person who's arguing all these things about me in court, saying that people should look at me based on my pharmacy school GPA, whose truth he knows about, people should look at me based on me being a aggressive, which I am not. People should look at me based on the fact that I'm a bad person, which I'm not. At the same time, him and his family are desperately trying to find pictures of girls that do not even look anything like her to advertise her to me, to try to get me to desperately agree to going with their daughter, while at the same time telling other people to not go with me at all, showing a double standard completely. And you just saw that picture of that girl, even though this is what his sister actually does look like. This is what she looks like, and they completely changed her face. This is from March 9th, 2026, sent to me 3 times. This is what she actually looks like. And yet, this is what they actually found the very first time, an actual resemblance on the very first time. She's way too young for me. I don't like her at all. And this is what they sent me the very first time, which actually does resemble her. This was sent to me March 9th, 2026, 3 times. Then, when I refused that one, they sent me a picture of a girl not even resembling her, only out of desperation to check to see what the chances of me agreeing to this would be. This is March 11th, and only 2 days later. So they sent me a picture of a girl who doesn't even resemble his sister at all, out of so much desperation to try to get me to agree to saying yes to his sister, only out of extreme greed of my Brain Savant money. And then when they saw that I was not agreeing to that, recently, only about 2 months ago, they're advertising once again, someone who doesn't look anything like his sister at all, not one bit. They're advertising her to me only 2 months ago, someone who doesn't even look like her, not at all, not one bit. And the facts and evidences will clearly show that on July 18, only 2 months ago, Ibrahim and his family asked law enforcement to advertise someone who doesn't even look anything like his sister. Face color is different, face shape is different, everything about this girl is different, even the eyes are different, only out of desperation to try to get me to sign to this prenup Ponzi scheme where they believe so strongly about my Brain Savant and its monetary potential that got confirmed on June 24th, being overanalyzed only about 2 months ago, that just last month they sent me a girl's picture who doesn't even resemble his sister, only to try to force me to agree to signing to this prenup marriage Ponzi scheme blackmail that they're continuously sending me, even though this does not even resemble his sister, who looks more like this, and yet they're continuously desperately trying to get me to sign and agree to this, even though this person that they're sending me only from last month doesn't resemble his sister at all. This is the level of desperation that Ibrahim and his family have for running after me for their daughter and getting me to sign a prenup marriage agreement blackmail for her, while at the same time they're telling other people that I'm aggressive, even though no one wants an aggressive person. Aggressive people are keen on getting revenge, to be marrying their daughter after they fabricated so many false testimonies against me, that I'm a bad person. No one wants a bad person to marry their daughter, that I have a low GPA for pharmacy school, even though they know what the truth was on that. No one wants a person who's stupid to marry their daughter. They want one standard for everyone else, and so that people don't like me, don't go near me, do anything at all, and for themselves, they want a completely different standard. You have to remember the fact that after Ibrahim was caught on July 10th, trying to come in front and behind my car cameras to advertise himself, to try to run after my elementary school teacher, and he was already rejected on July 10th. At 7 p.m., Ibrahim and his family had already advertised their sister to me numerous times, and they were about to in only 8 more days on July 18. My dad had tried to get me to commit incest with his own sisters for giving me illegal assurance of millions of euros that he had asked law enforcement to ask me if I would agree to this or not, so he couldn't act like my Brain Savant didn't exist or the monetary potential did not. Now you have who else do you have? Further, the Greedy Framer has sent me these sexually explicit pictures of girls resembling her daughters that no one who dresses up like a nun would ever send to anyone at all, not ever. And so Further, the Greedy Framer trying to claim that that she didn't believe in the monetary potential for my Brain Savant is just not possible, because no normal human being would send a picture of a sexually explicit picture of girls resembling their daughters like this to anyone at all. unless they really thought that there was money involved, which you can easily see as soon as June 24th was overanalyzed. You could see this very clearly, how desperate Farrah the Greedy Farmer was in trying to get me to marry her daughter or agree to this Ponzi scheme blackmail. Look at what the girl in the gray is wearing on top. We'll look at what the girl in the blue is wearing on the bottom. So she couldn't claim after July 10th to try to get revenge from me for claiming that Ibrahim was a drug-addicted sex addict. Not only was he a drug addict, but he was a sex addict running after my elementary school teacher. And so in order to get revenge from me, in order to make me look like I was drug addict, I was sexually perverted, or that I had a low IQ, they had Adamji and Marouk from overseas to claim this. Now, the thing you need to remember is Adamji and Marouk, till now, they were the only people who could have claimed this. They were the only two people who could have claimed this. The other people, I just showed you exactly how desperate they were in trying to run after my brain savant money. They couldn't claim that it didn't exist. So the thing about Adamji and Marouk was the fact that they were working with a person in law enforcement, that only one person in law enforcement, and that one person in law enforcement is a person who's been getting the unemployment disability fraud money every single month for years, that I've been telling the government to stop and end. It's fraud and it's wrong. And that person in law enforcement first went and fabricated a group chat false testimony against me with someone from my overseas pharmacy school, that I don't even know. Just because I talked to someone more than 10 years ago does not mean that I know this person. It's the same as if the person from my elementary school, the 10-year-old child claiming 25 years later in mid-January 2026 that I said anti-government things to him when I was a 10-year-old child. Then when he gets caught with fabricating the entire false testimony, just claims that, 25 years ago when he was a 10-year-old child, we were friends, does not give you the right to fabricate any false testimonies against me. The group chat person, it does not give him any right to fabricate any false testimonies against me. Just because more than 10 years ago, if I knew him in pharmacy school or not, does not give him any right to fabricate any false testimonies against me. Similarly, that same person in law enforcement then went over to Adamji and Marouk, and these were the only two people left who could fabricate false testimonies against me. After July 10th, you saw the sexually explicit picture for the Greedy Farmer was sending for her daughters. Ibrahim was advertising his sister, and so was his family. My dad, the Greedy Farmer, is begging me to commit incest with his sisters in order for illegal exchange for millions of years. He was asking through law enforcement, so it's undeniable, since law enforcement is a witness. So Adamji and Marouk were the only two people who could claim that I was sexually perverted, a drug addict, and that I was stupid on July 11th, only to get revenge from me for what I claimed about Ibrahim on July 10th, that he was sexually perverted, running after my elementary school teacher, and that he was a drug addict. Due to the fact that he is a drug addict, he was coming in front and behind my car cameras, and so obviously they would also claim that I was stupid, since they are extremely envious of me and my brain savant that no one else could claim at that time, so they had to be the ones claiming it, Adamji and Marouk. Well, guess what? On July 11th, 2026, Adamji and Marouk, just last month, were caught fabricating complete and total lies against me, exaggerations and lies against me. Adamji and Marouk were caught on July 11th, just last month, fabricating complete and total lies against me, making these two last people extremely envious and fabricators and liars who have already been caught. Their testimony can no longer stand against me for trying to exaggerate claims against me, for trying to falsify claims against me, since like the group chat person who was their own BFF, Adamji and Marouk's, and the BFF of law enforcement, the same person in law enforcement who was getting the monthly money every month from the unemployment disability fraud, Adamji and Marouk, just like the group chat person, cannot claim that anything against me, about me, or try to exaggerate anything against me, since you have to remember November 20th had excellent evidence, and yet November 20th evidence was completely fabricated and and exaggerated. Didn't even exist. It was made up. Early January had excellent evidence, but that evidence was also fabricated and exaggerated. It was a confessed lie that Ibrahim's envious mother made to the government informant right before November 20th. Early April 2026 was excellent evidence, and yet early April 2026 evidence was found to be a complete total fabrication and a lie and exaggeration from the facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversation. Just recently, last month, Ibrahim's new false testimony against me in the month of July last month had excellent evidence, only to be found out as that evidence being a complete total lie, exaggeration, fabrication. Adamji and Mahrukh have been found on July 11th to have been completely fabricating, exaggerating lies against me. Just because they're showing evidence does not mean that these people do not have a record of showing evidence that is completely fabricated and exaggerated. You have to remember the fact that Adamji and Mahrukh are both BFFs with the person who made the group chat false testimony against me. They were both talking to this individual right before they made their false testimony, and this group chat false testimony individual was talking to Adamji and Mahrukh right before Adamji and Mahrukh made their false testimony against me. This group chat individual was making the false testimony with the exact same person in law enforcement overseas who gets the monthly money from the unemployment disability fraud money every month. This group chat person had excellent evidence as well before he presented it to court to frame me, basically giving me a life sentence. Guess what? That evidence that the group chat person showed against me, completely fabricated. That group chat wasn't even in the same time period I was there overseas. It could not have been me in any way, shape, or form. Just because Adamji and Mahrukh are trying to show evidence does not mean that the evidence is not exaggerated, fabricated in the most extreme way possible, since they have already exaggerated and fabricated an evidence. Adamji and Mahroukh's BFF has already done that right before them, and that BFF sent law enforcement, the same person in law enforcement who gets the monthly money every month from the unemployment disability fraud that I've been trying to end, was sent by the person who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me to Adamji and Mahrukh. He was talking to Adamji and Mahrukh right before they fabricated their false testimony against me on July 11th. You have to understand the fact that Adamji and Mahrukh have already been caught fabricating a false testimony, exaggerating a false testimony against me. Just because there's evidence does not mean it's not fabricated and exaggerated. Group chat false testimony person had evidence. It was completely fabricated and exaggerated. All the evidences, November 20th had evidence, excellent, but it was fabricated and exaggerated. It was not excellent because it was completely made up. January had evidence. It looked really real, but it was completely fabricated and exaggerated. It was confessed to being a lie before November 20th. Early April had evidence. It looked really real, but it was fabricated and exaggerated from the facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversations. Last month, Ibrahim's evidence would look really real, but it was fabricated and exaggerated. Okay, Adamji and Mahroukh's BFF had evidence for the group chat false testimony. It looked really real, but it was fabricated and exaggerated, not even in the same time period I was overseas. And the person who fabricated with the person who fabricated the group chat against me, that person, by the way, is the person who gets the monthly money every single month that I've been trying to end. So he gets sent over to Adamji and Mahrukh, and they're already caught July 11th, fabricating, exaggerating a false testimony against me. Just because they're showing evidence does not mean it's exaggerated, not exaggerated and fabricated, okay? A person who has already been caught exaggerating, fabricating false testimonies and lies against me just last month, July 11th, cannot have their testimony heard against me, okay? And if anyone wants to claim that I'm dumb or stupid or anything of that sort of nature, then the artificial intelligence over analyzing of June 24th, 2026 has to be looked at, okay? Or you could do a 30-minute brain savant test and find out if I am Kim Peek Rain Man or not. And the confessions made by law enforcement confessing in court that the entire time I was in my overseas pharmacy school, my brain savant was not only locked up, but that I was inhibited from being able to even study using extreme amnesia drugs, not even only on the Blast Biochem exam, but numerous other exams except for that one. If anyone claims that I'm a drug addict, then you have to remember the fact that I've been watched 24/7 since I was an 11-year-old child. Not one instance of me ever buying street drugs ever in my life, okay? You also have to understand the fact that I only had hyperactivity drugs prescribed to me that I stopped taking, and told my doctor that I no longer wanted it because I aged out of it, and I told my doctor that it causes dependency and that I aged out of it, putting into his computer system to never have any doctor give me that medication ever again. If there was 1% chance of me ever wanting to take it ever again, I would not have done that, okay? Except for that, for the past 10 years, I've never even had a Schedule 5 controlled substance, which is a Robitussin syrup. So you cannot claim about someone with this history while being watched 24/7 have been a drug addict. And the sexual perversion thing, it cannot be taken testimony from a person who's either been someone like my dad, the greedy framer, asking me to commit incest with his sisters in exchange for illegal assurances of money, or someone like Ibrahim or his mother, since they have asked me to marry their daughter or sister, and no one wants a sexually perverted person to marry their daughter. For the greedy framer cannot ever claim about me that I'm a sexually perverted person, looking at the kind of perversions for her own daughter that she is encouraging. Look at the girl in the gray, what she's wearing on the top. Girl in the blue, look what she's wearing on the bottom. Kind of sexual perversion she's encouraging for her own daughters to try to get out of greed for my brain savant money. Adam G and Maru cannot claim this sexual perversion because they've already been caught on July 11th fabricating and exaggerating lies against me. Just because someone shows evidence does not mean that it's not fabricated and exaggerated. November 20th had evidence. It was completely fabricated and exaggerated. Early January had evidence, completely fabricated and exaggerated, confessed lies right before November 20th that Ibrahim's envious mother had already told law enforcement that she was planning these lies. Early April had evidence. It was completely fabricated and exaggerated. Phone conversations retrieved. Every single one had to be retrieved, only to find out that every single statement from early April was a complete total lie. Last month, just last month, Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson, shows evidence completely fabricated and exaggerated. Adam G and Maruk's BFF showed evidence for the group chat. It was completely fabricated and exaggerated. Almost gave me a life sentence, and it wasn't even in the same time period I was there overseas. The other thing is, these people like Adam G. Maruk, or the person who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me, cannot claim that just because they knew me, or I knew the person that they knew from the group chat, that it gives them some sort of a right to fabricate false testimonies against me, making these group chat false testimonies against me, where it does not even occur in the same time period that I am overseas, mainly due to the fact that it would be the same as a 10-year-old child claiming from my elementary school 25 years later in mid-January 2026 that I said anti-government things to him, almost giving me a life sentence, only to be found out as being completely fabricated. Him using the excuse, oh, Hassan knew me when we were 10 years old in elementary school, does not give him the right to fabricate these false testimonies and lies against me. Similarly, Adam G. Maruk, or this person who fabricated the group chat testimony against me, just because when I was in pharmacy school more than 10 years ago, if I ever talked to them, does not give them the right to claim that they have some sort of a right to fabricate false testimonies against me and lies against me, when in fact the facts and evidences also show that the group chat false testimony person talked to Adam G and Maruk right before Adam G and Maruk were making their false testimony against me on July 11th. These two people have no right fabricating any false testimonies, lies against me after they've already been caught on July 11th, completely fabricating and exaggerating lies against me. They were completely caught on July 11th, just last month, so they cannot do this anymore. Just because there's evidence does not mean that it's not fabricated and exaggerated when they've already been caught lying already on July 11th. Their BFF, whom I only talked to more than 10 years ago when I was in my overseas pharmacy school, their BFF, who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me, showed evidence of that group chat false testimony against me. It was completely fabricated. It wasn't even in the same time period I was there overseas. Could not have been me in any way, shape, or form. Just because they're showing evidence does not mean it's not a complete and total lie. Adamji and Mahrukh have both been caught on July 11th, just last month, completely fabricated and exaggerating lies against me. Their BFF, whom they talked to right before they fabricated their false testimony against me on July 11th, had fabricated the entire group chat false testimony against me. He had evidence of that group chat false testimony. It was completely fabricated. It wasn't even in the same time period I was there overseas. Could not have been me in any way, shape, or form possible. And Adamji and Mahrukh have already been caught on July 11th, just last month, completely fabricating and exaggerating lies and fabricated false testimonies against me just because they show evidence like their BFF showed evidence right before he fabricated his false testimony against me. Does not mean that the evidence is not completely fabricated, exaggerated, and a complete and total lie. You have to remember this fact. And the other thing is, Adamji, Mahrukh, and this person who made the group chat false testimony against me, just because I talked to them more than 10 years ago in pharmacy school does not give someone the right to fabricate false testimonies against me. But when Adamji and Mahrukh are trying to testify and make false testimonies against me, it counts at the fact that they talked to the person who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me right before they fabricated their false testimony against me, and they were completely found to be fabricating against me. It counts against them the fact that they talked to the person who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me right before they tried to make their own false testimony against me on July 11th, and they were caught completely fabricating and lying against me on July 11th. They cannot testify in court against me anymore, considering the fact, regardless of whether they show evidence or not, their BFF, whom they talked to right before they made theirs on July 11th, showed evidence as well. The group chat was completely fabricated, not even in the same time period I was there overseas. Adamji and Mahrukh cannot make any more statements against me since they've already been caught making exaggerations and lies against me just because they show evidence. Their BFF, whom they talked to right before they made their false testimony against me on July 11th, showed evidence as well that almost gave me a life sentence, and everyone believed it for a very long time, and they stood in front and behind the president and forcing him to give law enforcement complete total power to try to literally murder me, only to be found out as being a complete total lie that group chat false testimony it was not even in the same time period I was there overseas. I had nothing to do with it. And so Adamji and Mahrukh talked to that person in the group chat false testimony right before they were caught completely fabricating their false testimony against me on July 11th. If they claim that I knew the group chat false testimony person more than 10 years ago, if I talked to him more than 10 years ago when I was in my overseas pharmacy school, it makes no difference. But it makes a difference the fact that they consulted this person who made the group chat false testimony against me right before they made their false testimony against me on July 11th. That person who made the group chat false testimony against me talked to Adamji and Mahrukh right before Adamji and Mahrukh made their false testimony against me on July 11th. And that person who made the group chat false testimony against me showed evidence of that group chat false testimony, completely fabricated. I wasn't even in the same time period I was there overseas. And Adamji and Mahrukh were caught on July 11th and completely fabricating lies and false testimonies against me. They cannot narrate in this trial anymore since they've already been caught lying and fabricating on July 11th. Just because they show evidence does not mean it's not the kind of evidence that their BFF showed, who talked to them right before they made their false testimony against me on July 11th. So their narration cannot count in my trial. Thank you.